Hello and welcome to the Dweebz in Japanese podcast. I am one of your hosts, Patrick.
And I'm also one of your hosts, Khalil.
I look like a chipmunk. Nice, that's like intense.
I look like a protagonist on a video game box cover.
Awesome. All right, we just got done watching Darker Than Black episode 14, which was interesting. It was pretty much all backstory about Dean, which was interesting. I think her story is really sad, and that's why she has no feelings. It's because she bottles them all up or something. I don't know. There's also the fact that she likes to bathe in the souls of the Kyaksha, which I still don't understand.
That was interesting.
Maybe that's how she has the seeing power. I have no idea. A lot of it doesn't make sense, but I think you have to just roll with it with these type of shows, which is kind of cool that they came up with that idea, though. Like, the entire idea for the show is just cool.
I agree too, and
it's really unique.
The thing too is it left out a big part of her backstory, which is how she became a doll.
That part is still a mystery. Yeah, like the whole light thing. Is that how? Her.
Yeah, so it's very interesting.
A lot was left up to interpretation. I don't know if she gets her powers from the light, which is like dead Kyaksha. I have no idea. It's very odd. I feel like the whole entire show is probably based on the idea: what if people had superpowers, but then they had to have a taika, like they had to do something, and then they just built the story around that. I'm not sure, but
it's an interesting way to write a story. You start with the concept and you just go nuts.
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of things you can do, story wise, like characters and stuff like that. But an interesting, have like an interesting gimmick or whatever, concept that, the what if questions that kind of start every movie and show. It's just, what if there were zombies and there were an apocalypse? What if you could enter different dimensions? What if blah blah blah? So it was really interesting. I liked it. I'm excited to continue watching. I think that one episode a week is actually too slow for me because I am so interested in the show. I just want to watch like 4 episodes ahead. but I think progress is good for practice, and we're also just watching it without subtitles and stuff. So hopefully that was interesting.
A lot more to go.
Yeah.
Halfway now.
But halfway through. Khalil, recently, Japanese. How's it been going?
Recently, Japanese is going the way
buffalo?
Of slow. The buffalo,
It's going away. It's getting extinct.
We're getting a lot of words that are kind of hard for me. So it's like it feels more of an effort to do my reviews now on Wanikani, because this particular batch of kanji is like it's quite the mixed bag, I would say. Like for example, I have a couple of easy ones like house. And then there are 2 that keep getting me. It's the kanji for matsu and
oh yes, I had the same problem.
And what was the other one? Me,
like mirai.
Yeah, and they're basically the same.
One is just slightly like different. Look at the top bar. One is longer. That's matsu, and then the one that's shorter. That's like the jet radical or whatever, and that's me. Yeah. It's kind of confusing.
It is, and they have pretty different.
What is the meaning of me? Is it future, or is it
me?
Yeah.
I
don't remember the meaning, like that.
Not yet.
Oh,
like not yet.
Mirai, not yet. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, that does make sense.
Yeah, not yet come. Mirai, right?
Yeah.
Not yet come is future. And then matsu is just like. I don't know the mnemonic for that. I don't remember, but it's like the end of, right?
Yeah,
it's like shu matsu or something.
Yeah. Nenmatsu. That one's
By the way, sorry.
It's kind of funny.
Let me share my screen here so that we can get going. Yeah.
Going.
All right, can you see?
Boom. Yeah, it kind of just yoinked me into
Yoink.
screen of your screen.
Sweet.
Release me.
Yoink. Release me. So, what are we currently working on or looking at? You didn't put down that.
Yeah, I didn't put down those examples, but
okay,
those are just a couple. And then there's also a lot of them are kind of more conceptual, or when they are put together in a word, like a jugo or something, that they don't really make sense to me. Particular with here, I'll write it down. It's well, I guess I won't write it down because I'll paste it, because if I try to search for it, it's gonna take a while on the.
Let me do something else.
So here, I'm gonna put it right under my little beginning part. Oh,
cool.
That's not it. That's actually one of the words. Yeah, the way you choose a oh, here you go. This one. That guy. It's been beating me up, man.
Yeah. What is it confusing you? Is it just hard to remember?
Well, one of its meanings is from, which makes sense, but a lot of the vocabulary is based off of some of the other ones, because it has 2 meanings, like from and compared with. So for the word, where is it? So it's e.
What about resembles? I thought that like niru, like niteru.
Sorry, what?
From. That's also in like ijo and other words. Yeah.
Yeah, ijo, ika. Those ika, 2 kind of make sense.
Yeah. From low, from high, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
And then igai, I can't get that. It's confusing to me.
So the igai, yeah, it's like other than kind of thing, like from outside. Yeah. Basically, like if you're talking about something, and you're talking about a subject, and then inside of that subject is a bunch of things you can talk about. So then you say igai is like from outside. So now that we're talking about this stuff inside the subject, from outside the subject. So like, atoa is another way to say that. Like if somebody's ordering food or something like that, you got a big order.
Oh.
Igai wa, like you're talking to a friend or something, you're saying, sort of igai wa, like other than the things we just said, what else can we add to the order, or what else can we buy? Yeah, igai. From outside.
From outside. Yeah, I'll get it eventually.
Right,
what about you?
Kind of a weird one. I actually didn't remember like the English meaning for e. Just because it's used in so many words, and I know the meanings of the words, I forget what like the actual meaning of that kanji is.
I see. Yeah.
I just see it in context so much. I know that it means like I've kind of just unintentionally just memorized all of the
like the vocab.
The vocab, yeah.
Does it have a word as its own kanji? Is it one of those?
Where is its own? I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, that would make sense in that case.
Yeah.
Because some of them are their own words too, and it's like, gotta keep track.
Right. Yeah. But normally they're like the similar meaning of the same meaning. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And that's always nice.
Yeah. From, you said from and compared with?
That's
okay. Interesting. Yeah, like the dictionary definition or whatever in English of what those kanji mean. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's their dictionary.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. What do you got?
I love that you're sharing like stuff that's been hard recently, because a lot of people think that like the people who are kind of far along, I'm sure there's people perhaps listening who just got started and don't know what higai is, don't know what e is, haven't got there yet in Wanikani. Because I think you're level 7 or 8, right?
Yeah, I'm at the end of level 7.
Nice. So people are like, you guys, I don't know what you're talking about, like all the anime, I just don't understand anything. But you'll get there. If you just keep on, you'll get there. And then this is going to be all basic stuff. And some of you listening are like, can we just move on to something more harder? Which I think we try to incorporate both sort of hard things, like normal conversational things, which is sort of the anime, like, right? If we're watching the anime, it's
Mm-hmm.
harder conversations, like fantasy words too, which are hard for me. And then some just like the one dude who's, I guess, not a Kyaksha, he's just a human. He's talking, and it's, you know, very not countryside, but it's very like a manly way to speak, and it uses little like rolling R's and stuff, and so that's a little bit harder to understand because it's not like the Kanto, like the Tokyo region that people are so familiar with way of speaking. It's kind of that, but it's sort of like the guy way to speak. And so that's a little harder to understand. And he uses like different not conjugations, but just different ways of saying things and stuff. So, so, you know, there's everything. There's a little bit of everything for everybody, I think, in the way that we're doing the podcast and the YouTube channel. So, but I just want to encourage people to, you know, don't necessarily skip over these things, but don't worry about remembering all of the little things that we're talking about, like igai and whatever. Maybe you can add it to a vocab list or something like that, but don't spend too much time learning it until you get to it, maybe in Wanikani or something.
Yeah, just don't let it bog you down.
Yeah, it's fun to like see a word in the wild and then kind of get familiar with it, and then see it in Wanikani, and you're like, oh, I know that word.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's so much easier now because I kind of know it. And you already know like the reading from seeing it all the time. And so the mnemonic usually, you know, no, it can be good sometimes, but oftentimes it's like not super helpful. And so it helps when you've already seen it other places.
Agreed.
It's kind of how I feel with igai and like ijo and stuff. Is that I was already trying to
in the wild.
Yeah, I was already trying to use that in the wild. Yeah, and I just kind of remember the words, and I forgot like the All right, so for me, the only thing I wrote basically was reading during work time is difficult.
Yeah,
I think it's just because my work is sort of lots of, I almost said pingy. There's a lot of pings throughout the day. So when I'm reading, I never feel like I can actually fully focus on what I'm reading because I'm going to be pinged in Slack or something about some problem.
Yeah, and that time difference too, that causes part of the issue, right?
Kind of, but I did try to move it more to match the time that everybody's like having lunch, but to be fair, I didn't change it enough. I think I need to change it even more to be, you know, like at 12 Pacific time or whatever that all my coworkers and people are working. Yeah, so I should probably do that, but it's just a little bit early for me to eat. Like, I don't know, maybe I'll try that. It's sort of a mix of that and then also my own issue. Like I feel, because I've always just skipped lunch before because I want to get off earlier.
I see.
So yeah, I don't know, but I'm enjoying the book. It's just, yeah, that's my main issue. Is just trying to work within the middle of the I almost said school day, work day, not school. I mean, it would be better honestly if I read it in the morning, but I kind of prioritize my real estate stuff in the morning. So that's sort of my bad. But I think maybe if I move it to like around lunchtime Pacific time, then it would be okay. So maybe I'll try that. But slowly but surely, I'm like basically reading a page every other day or a day, a page or two. So it's a like 200-page book or something like that. So it's going to take me like a couple months to even get through a little bit. It's not actually 200 pages is not that much, right? Especially for like a native speaker, that's fairly short. But for me, it's
not that pace.
Pretty slow. Yeah. Well, cool. So moving on to the favorite Japanese words.
Yeah. So, actually, I'm going to start with the second one because it kind of goes with what we were just talking about finding words in the wild, you know, and then seeing them in Wanikani. There is we've seen this one a lot. This character, Kuro Black, or it's also pronounced Kuro. Also pronounced Koku, which is actually I think that's
Onomi.
Yeah, like for Kokujin, which is interesting. And
Yep. It's really straightforward, and there's also Hakujin.
It is.
And there's also Kiroijin. I'm just kidding.
Kiroijin.
Yellow. No, it's just, you know, Japanese is very simple. I mean, in English it's the same thing though. So
yeah, it is kind of funny. And the other one, probably more of a common word, Ida.
Either,
Apparently, it's like
yeah.
I actually learned. So I learned the gate radical. I haven't learned any words with it yet, so I'm sure this word is probably upcoming sometime soon, at least.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
but the dictionary definition was like space or like area, like or not like area, but space in between, right?
Right. Yep.
Or is it okay? Is there so how is
It
that
can also
kind
be
of
used for
used?
time. Yeah. So you can
Time.
like, I think I explained this the other time. So the other day, when I was talking about nagara, like doing something at the same time. So for example,
Oh.
hashiri nagara onigiri o tabetemasu. Like as I'm running, I'm eating onigiri.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if if it's somebody else doing something at the same time that somebody else is doing something or something else is happening, then you can't use nagara because that nagara implies one person or one thing like
Mm-hmm.
do itself doing like simultaneously basically. If you want to say at the same time, not simultaneously necessarily, but at the same time, you'd say like te form iru or aru aida. So for example, um, Khalil, you are running and I'm eating onigiri. Maybe say like カリルさんが走ってる間に僕がおにぎりを食べてます。
Okay.
Like while you are running, I am eating onigiri. And then so Aida is like the period of time or the
Mm-hmm.
interval.
Interval.
So,
That
I
sounds
send a
familiar.
sentence like カリルさんが走ってる間、走ってる is running, and then
Mm-hmm.
Aida is like in the span of time that you're running, I am eating. It's kind of weird. I don't know why it works that way, but it just does. Like
Mm-hmm.
nagara is for something that you're doing or somebody else is doing at the same time, and they're doing something simultaneously with something else. But if you're saying two different people, like two different subjects, not just people, but subjects are doing something at the same time, then you'd use ida, like te form ida. Also, ida
Interesting.
can, like you said, it can mean like space between something.
Like
So
physical space, right?
physical space too, yeah. So if you're saying like a building, um, you know, so その建物の間に or like this building and this building. So その建物とその建物の間に so the middle of the building,
Mm-hmm.
there's a like between the buildings there's how do you say that? Rodo? I think that's how you say it. Or rochi. It's like an alleyway.
Oh.
You know,
Okay.
guard
That's
or something.
interesting. That's a pretty
Yeah.
versatile one right there.
It's used a lot, yeah, for sure. It's you'll hear it all the time if you listen for it. Which I love those words. I love those words that you can like just hone in on and focus on, and then just listen for it. Like
Yeah.
only focus on that and maybe a couple of ones, and then just like listen to an anime, listen to a podcast, listen to something, and then just listen for that word, and you'll get the feeling for how it's used because it's really common.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really fun. It's like you're hunting it down.
Yeah.
Like hyper aware of it.
Yeah, word hunting. All right, I got a couple. So I got one that Judy's been saying a lot recently. I don't know why necessarily, but or a lot. It's just a really common word. So it's mashi, and let me make sure that I look it up correctly. It's basically like preferable, better. So oftentimes, like in conversation, Judy will say that. Like anybody will say that. それはマシ. I don't know if this is Hogan. I don't think so. Hogan is like a dialect or and not an accent necessarily, but sort of like a dialect of language. And there's a lot of it. Just like in any language, in Japanese, there are different dialects that you can still understand, but they use like different. They say things differently, and they use different words. Like mashi might be one of those. I have to ask Judy. I'm not sure. I don't think it is though. It basically means like それがマシ. I think that's how you probably say that. Like それがマシだな. Like that's the better option. Basically, is what you're saying.
I see.
So if you're talking about a job opportunity, if you're talking about like food, talking about anything, like それはマシ is like the better preferable thing, maybe. Yeah. Other word that I learned through Wanikani recently is aratameru. Aratameru is the kanji. If you're looking at it, it means like renew, and I understand that, and I learned that a long time ago through Wanikani. But aratameru is to like, this is kind of confusing to me. So I've been asking Judy about like when would you use this and say this, and apparently this is for something. Aratameru is like to change something is the meaning in Wanikani. But in reality, you say it when you're doing something again. So, for example, like, I'm going to call it like I'm going to call again. Like, mata demasuru. It's fine. You can say that too. Mata demasuru. Or like, denwa wo aratameru, I think is what you can say. I need to make sure that's correct. But basically, aratamete kakeru. I think you could probably say that. Like, denwa o aratamete kakeru. Like, I'm going to call again, but I think it's implied that you're changing something as if like there's a problem. Like you need to do it again because there's a problem. But it has the apparently connotation that you're doing it again, and apparently it's a little bit more polite to say this than to say like mata denwa suru or something. Aratamete kakeru, like aratamete shimasu. Like you're changing it, you're doing it again. Like in Japanese, like there's always that like in Japanese there's always that in polite speak there's that implication that you're doing something wrong at all times. Like you're trying to be less direct. You're trying to apologize all the time, as if you did something wrong when you're not doing anything wrong. So it's kind of weird. The other one is let me look this up again. I think it's guki. Let me look it up. Guki. It's kind of a funny, guki. I learned this. Kugi. Yeah, no, sorry, kugi. Yeah, that makes more sense to me.
You have a little cool dictionary thing.
Yeah. I just realized that. Yeah. Forgot about that. This is anybody who's using Firefox. This is Rikai-chan, I think. Rikai-chan. Oh, sorry, Rikai Champ, and then the Chrome one is Rikai-chan. Rikai is right, comprehend. So it's a nice browser extension. I totally forgot I had that. Thanks for calling. Yeah, I've used it for other things, but I didn't realize I could just do this right here. Because we're sharing my screen now. So yeah, this means nail. Kugi, I think where I was talking about something the other day. Nail came up. So kegai is a surgeon. So this is science, right? This is outside, and then is like doctor, medicine. So kegai is apparently outside science. Doctor is the surgeon. I don't know why. Huh. Judy got her wisdom teeth out a couple days ago, so I was wondering. I forgot how to say surgeon. I say shujutsu or shuzutsu. Shuzutsu is just like surgery. So I was thinking you could say like shuzutsu sha. Sha is like the person, right? Or maybe like in or something, right? Jin. Mm-hmm. But apparently you don't say that. You say kegai. So kenmo is inspection, as you can see. This came up in Darker Than Black. And then yamashi also came up in Darker Than Black, and it means like let me actually get the Rikai champ thing up. Oh, I realized because I'm zoomed in so far, it's probably not going to show it correctly. But yamashi, because there's a lot of different meanings apparently.
There is. Jeez.
Means like I thought it meant regrettable. One second. It doesn't mean regrettable, I don't think. Oh geez, it's not showing up on my thing. But yamashi, is like, okay, it's basically regrettable. It's like ashamed, painful, guilty conscience. The what's his face? I forgot his name. The guy who looks like an American cowboy in Darker Than Black.
Oh yeah,
that dude, whatever his name is, was saying something about. Oh no, sorry, not that guy. Dean's piano teacher. He was saying yamashi. Sorry, because he was a little bit ashamed about her mom and like their little bit of their like he liked her, but felt guilty about it basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Yamashi. So and he was kind of like in that way apologizing to her. So yeah. Sorry, that was a long list. My list is always long. All right, well, Shame Kalo, take us through it.
All right.
Now that the people can see, I don't know why we didn't do this from the beginning, but now they can see the.
Now they know.
Yeah.
They know exactly. So at a good old coin flip plus some 60-60, for meaning and reading, we got. I'm stalling. We got a word here. Family name. All right, we got a kanji here. Family name, and it is read as she, right?
Yep. There's also two readings for this.
Oh,
actually.
I don't know the other one.
Yeah.
I don't think I've learned it yet. And there's another similar kanji to that basically has another little mouth on top, and that's a different word. The people.
Yes.
People.
Sorry, you were right. I'm just getting confused with that.
Oh, with that.
Yes. Because I know what this one means. It's like for name, like for full name, for example, is Shime. So I just looked that up. But you're right. Mean like the people, like kokumin, like the citizens or whatever. That's different. Like you're saying that has the same kanji, but it's used as a radical, and there's another mouth on top. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is only typically used for like name or clan, but mostly name. Can't think of any other words with this in it. Off the top of my head, yeah.
Yeah, and like I was saying before, this is another one of those words that those two words were introduced to me like at the same time, along with the matsu and me. So it's just like, and speaking of which, this is, hold on, I can do it. This is matsu, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Hold on, I can do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, since we could show people. This is the word.
It's very, very close.
Kanji. I keep getting confused.
You can just do mirai. Yeah, see how close that is? It's basically the same thing. It's just the top bar.
Yeah, you have to actually like look at it. It's kind of harder to glance at it,
So what is the I think that matsu, the mnemonic, is something like a jet. It looks like
you're flying to the end of the world, and you can do that because the wings are shorter, so you could hold more fuel. The wings are shorter
so you can hold more fuel. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. It's I mean, that one kind of works, but
that's hard. That's a hard mnemonic to make,
Yeah.
But if you just think of an airplane and you think of there's no back wings typically, but there's the front wings, which are big.
Yeah, well, they have the tiny tail,
but that's not really on the tail. But I get you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like a plane if you just look at the top part, not the tree part, but just the top part.
Yeah, it does. I would agree with that. But yeah, those are my two words, and that was at 100% meaning. Somehow.
In the same level, did you get both kanji, by the way? Like matsu and me?
Yeah, I got both of these.
That's helpful.
And then I got she and mean at the same time. And I do agree that's helpful, because if I saw one of these later, like if I saw matsu later on, I would have been just
always typing the right. Even if you have them appear at the same time, you're going to be always typing for like levels and levels in the future, typing the wrong thing for the wrong kanji. Because that's what I do, at least. Maybe you guys are better than me, but it's terrible. So she, by the way, I just looked it up. I was wondering if there's any words that I knew that have that in it, and like the only other word is shizoku, which is clan. Sorry, like tribe, basically. Tribe or clan. But the other words I'm really super familiar with. They're relating to clan, like different types of clans and stuff like that. And so it's not really like the mean, in kokumin, which you can also show. You can also type that if you want.
Okay.
That is used a lot more. There's a lot more words that appears in. Not that one. That's like suimin. That one, yeah. See how similar that is? Yeah. It just has the top mouth. That one is, yeah, like you said, people.
This one's mean.
Kokumin.
Oh. Hey, get out of here.
What's going on? Mean. Yeah. And the other one's she.
Yes.
Yep. And guess what? I have the same kanji forever still. This is su and kagayaku. So all the other words that I've been getting wrong, I've now gotten right, and so now I'm back to these ones, which are months and months in the making. So hopefully they'll appear soon. I can just knock them out and get a new word there.
Dude, the anticipation is just killing me.
Yeah, I know.
It's gonna be a very joyous day.
Then kagayaku is to shine, and I know perfectly now. That's the helpful part of the wall of shame words, is the words that you're doing the worst on show up on that page, and you just stare at them and you know them. So it's actually good. All right, we have a grammar lesson. We're talking about a or he, which is odd. You usually say a. So I like this. A is like an arrow that points in the way to a destination or direction. It's a little clunky the way they describe that, but I think of it as like direction. The direction of something that you're talking about. And again, it's a direct object part, sort of like a direct object particle. It's not like wo though, because wo is more, this is happening to this.
Yeah.
Where a is like, it's not directly causal, but it's related. And I'll give you some examples to sort of describe that. So often, it's often used for things like a verb that is going there or doing something upon. So Fujisan no, this is Ryojo. I think that's what it is. This is summit. I think it's Ryojo. Let me actually use Rikai Champ to look that up. Oh, Chojo. Sorry. Chojo. Right. Yeah, because we got the Cho in there. We got the little summit of a mountain. There's a bunch of different ways to say that too. You can say Sangaku, which is the mountain peak. I think Chojo is probably more common though, like the summit, if you're just talking about mountains. But anyways, Fujisan no Chojo e noboru. So you're going to climb the top of Mount Fuji. So you can say you can maybe say made. So Fujisan no Chojo made noboru. Like you're going to climb up until the top of Mount Fuji, but it is also more polite. It is used a lot more. Like Hanako ga America e iku. That's a more like Hanako ga America e ikimasu. It's a more polite way to say it than ni, because ni is more of like, this is in this direction, and this is more of like in that general direction. It's kind of the feeling of e. So in that general direction, again.
Oh, so it's more vague that way, huh?
It's a little bit more vague, but it's obvious what they mean. America e iku. So like America ni iku is the same exact thing. It's just a little bit more polite to be less indirect. And that's a running theme.
More direct, right?
The ni is more direct, yeah. So Hanako ga America e kuru. So she's coming to America, kuru. This is so weird because you never hear this really. You hear ni a lot more in general conversation than you do. You hear a lot, but it's more for like formal, polite speak, right? So Hanako wa gakko e arita. So she walked to school. Hanako walked to school in the general. It's sort of like the direction of school, right? You can say gakko made arita, like she walked up until the school. You can say gakko ni arita, like she walked to the school. There's just a bunch of different nuances, but the nuance of a is it's a little bit more general direction, and then like politer. So like this one for figurative destination directions. This nishi ni mukatte masu. I think you can still say that, but 西へ向かってます is more of like the general direction of west. Like,
Yeah.
西へ向かってます、向かってる is I'm sort of heading in the general direction of west.
Makes sense.
目標へ向かって頑張る。目標へ頑張って頑張る。目標に向かって頑張る。Again, it's all the same, really. It's just all the same. One is just more politer, which is the え。奈良時代から、平安時代へ。This is again, yeah, this is more of like something that people would say, maybe if there's like the new, I forgot the name of the calendar, like the actual, Heisei. Heisei is the name of the Japanese calendar. And it's all based on emperors, right? And so, but like, I think Nara Jidai is sort of, the way of saying from the Nara period to the Heian period. So I think that Heisei is actually what we were at. I think we're a new one now because the emperor stepped down. I have to ask Judy because it's very different the way that we do it in the West because ours is based on the Gregorian calendar, which is a little odd, but at least it just counts up. Where this one's like it literally your calendar year changes every single time an emperor steps down or passes.
Oh, I see.
That's how it works. Yeah. So, anyways, 娘へ荷物を送った. So in the general direction of the daughter, sent the package. 荷物. Again, just more formal. And then this is another good point that's a little bit different than the formal stuff. I guess it is still formal, but Keiko Hanako is like to Hanako. So when you're writing a letter, you'd say that. You write that. So like Kariru something, and then you say your name Yori. Yori is like from, basically. Yeah. So, 母から娘へ受け、I forgot this word. To succeed. Oh, it's like inheritance. 継がれた necklace. 継がれた is inheritance. Yeah. I didn't remember the reading for that. 継がれた。母から娘へ受け疲れた necklace. So the necklace that was received from the inheritance, from her mother's inheritance. 母から. So that's again like a little bit more formal to say that. Yeah, this is also okay. This is common speak. どうぞこちらへ. Like a lot of people say that, when you're going to a restaurant or whatever, or you are like in a train station or whatever, and then somebody's being polite, they'll say like どうぞこちらへ, like this way, in this direction. こちらへ. You don't say こちらに really. They might even just say こちら, like this way. They might not say, but こちらへ is more polite, kind of businessman or woman speak. 日本に行く, 日本へ行く, exactly the same thing. Yeah, and they're talking about the difference. This is trying to explain too. A is sort of like a poetic feeling. It's more of just like it makes it the more polite option. That's how Judy would describe it, I think, is that A is more polite. It's like more the general direction. コンビニに向かって歩いた。コンビニに歩いていた。A is sort of like the general direction. You can use ni at the same time. I'm trying to think of like other examples in this. This is kind of weird. A no. Where was that at? I missed it. Oh, you remember when I was saying made? So 東京から大阪までの距離は、okay, we're good. 距離は約500キロミターです. So, made no is a really, really common conjugation. And so they're saying, what are they saying over here? Like no made. So you can sort of often interchange made and but it has the different nuance that I was trying to describe. That made is like up until. So if you're talking about like one place to another place, you'd say made, and that works fine. But you're saying like up into. Osaka. If you're saying it's sort of like in the general direction of Osaka.
Yeah.
And I mean, it basically is the same thing on its own. But if you're having a conversation, you're saying like Osaka like I'm going to Osaka, but then you also follow up the conversation with, but I'm also going to blah 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 blah. Or if then we might use or ni. But if you're talking about maybe like one train line, then you might use made. Like that train line goes to Osaka, like Tokyo kara Osaka made.
Okay.
I'm gonna ride this train.
It stops there, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna ride to this. Yeah, exactly. Like it up until is like made. There was I'm trying to find the one. Oh, emo. That's really weird. Nemo is more common. Emo is
Nemo.
I forgot how to read this. Ainodake. Ainodake is a place. Ainodake. Oh, let's see right here. Ainodake mo noboru desu ka? Okay, that kind of makes sense. It's more of like a polite way to say nimo. No, blah 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 blah. Hopefully that there's some more obviously extreme examples. Kind of odd. Irregular stuff that you'll see at the end of these articles. It's always the case for these tofugu grammar articles. But hopefully that you understand what I'm trying to describe is that A is more polite. It's just like more indirect. It's more of just the general direction. And then ni is more like this, like going here. How do you describe like the goal, I guess? I don't know how you describe it, Khalil. Ni at least. How would you describe ni? I know there's some beginner textbooks and like classes and stuff that describe it better than I am.
I've always kind of I'm probably not the person to ask. I would have used it simply like that, like to like
like it's like the goal marker kind of, whether it's a place that you're going or whether it's a place that you're like giving to, like somebody that you're giving to, somebody that you're asking. But you can also use wool for certain different scenarios.
That's true. It seems like a lot of them can be used interchangeably to an extent.
You know? You wouldn't say for example, Tokyo wo iku. You would never say that.
Yeah.
You'd always say ni or
right?
Yeah. And then a is more like
can you use that? Can you use a in a kind of like, so if I'm thinking of ni as more of a like you said, like a goal, right? Like Tokyo.
It's the goal marker and it's more concrete. Yeah.
Right. So like I'm gonna go to Tokyo basically, but if I say like Tokyo
it still means you're going to Tokyo. It just means it's more of like a poetic way to say it. It's more of like general direction.
Like I'm going towards Tokyo, or can you imply? Yeah. Does that also imply that what if you like make a stop between there? Does that include that?
Well, it's more of like a poetic way to say it. It's like Nihon e, like I'm going to Japan, and it's a more polite way to say it, but it's also like and
it's less direct,
right? I'm heading off toward Tokyo. I'm heading off toward Tokyo, or like it's sort of like a not bon voyage, kind of feeling, but something like that, where it's like I'm heading to Tokyo. I'm heading to maybe like I'm heading to Tokyo. So if that's what you sort of want to emphasize, like you're like I'm going to Tokyo, like Tokyo e iku, Tokyo e ikimasu, like I'm leaving or whatever. It's more of a polite way to say that. So you could stop, but it's not wrong, is what I'm trying to say. Like even if you stop in the middle or whatever, all you're saying is that I'm going to Tokyo, so it's fine. Yeah, and often like again, regular conversation, you're just going to use ni, and that's totally fine. But I think it's better to listen for when people use e, and you'll realize that it's really just for formal speak and really just for like business people. And then you'll hear a couple phrases that are used a lot, like with e. Like kochira e is really, really common. Nippon e iku, or Nippon e, or whatever. Nihon e. 米国へ, like that's, going to America. There's only like certain times that you hear it a lot, but it's not really that big of a deal. It's pretty interchangeable with ni, so just think of it that like you can use it sometimes in place of ni, just to be a little bit more formal and fancy.
If you're trying to be polite.
If you're just trying to be fancy,
fancy.
Don't worry about. Well, some people would argue that you should worry about being overly polite, but I mean, most people, if you're speaking in sort of colloquial speak, will be fine. But I don't know, because no one expects a foreigner to speak like perfect Japanese. So I'm just trying to explain the nuances for you to understand when to use one or the other. But ni is not necessarily crude. Like it's just normal conversation. So if you just want to be more indirect or whatever, you can use e. But it's odd, honestly, if you replace every ni with e, people would be like, "Are you okay?" Because ni is common. So it's only for like certain phrases. All right, we have this week Pasteru Kazoku, which is a manga, I guess, and hopefully you can see it. Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Sweet. So Pasteru Kazoku. Yes, they can't speak back. Cool. I love the close-up shot of like every part. It's just because I'm zoomed in. I guess I can zoom out a little bit if that helps. I kind of want to show the text though. All right. Chun chun. Oni-chan, ohayo. What do you say? Omayo. Omayo, ohayo. Omayo, is that her name?
Mayo.
Omayo, ohayo. 目玉焼き作るの? Oh. 勝手に割れた? Wata? I actually forget how to say the word. I think it's so wareta is like to be split, but wata is like like this. Yeah. Sorry, wata is like to cut, to divide. 勝手に割った? 前をもうやってみるか? 一回火消すから。へえ。ぐしゃー。ちょいや。こにゃー。案外こういう角度の方が、ゲーブブブ。So she's trying to like tilt her arm like this to do it, but because she's trying really hard to not have it split. 3つともダメだった。はい、また今度な。He started. ほのめおはよう。His name is ほのめ、I guess her son. 目玉焼き食べる？もしかしたらスクランブルエッグになるかもしれないけど、いい？まだ諦めてないのか？諦める is like to give up, right? So you're not giving up. べしゃだ。She's trying again. できた！ポカ。はい、すごい。ごちそうさまでした。So that was the end of that, I guess. So the beginning of the beginning. We'll go halfway through them. So 今日も学校疲れたね。そうだな。マヨパーフェとか食べたくないか？マヨパフェ？私あんまりお金ない。仕方ない。おごるわ。仕方ない。おごるわ。Sorry, the nuance is a little different then. Because she doesn't have any money. Wait, I'm confused. So is she like the older sister or is she like the mom? Because she's... this is the daughter.
In school.
She's in school though. I'm confused.
Yeah.
Very, very confused.
I thought they were all siblings. I didn't know. I don't
maybe
know.
Maybe that Pastor Kazuko. Yeah, they're all family, obviously, but maybe she is like the.
But how?
This is her older. Oh, Nii-chan. Sorry. So this is her older brother. Yeah. My bad. My bad.
Oh yeah.
My bad. 仕方ないねよ、これは。私行ってみたい。喫茶店があるんだ。隣道のとこ。So 喫茶店 is like cafe. It's like a Japanese cafe. So normally tea. They normally have like coffee too, but it's usually black coffee. わざわざ隣町まで行くのか Or to the next door, the close town, like town next door. いいでしょバス代全部出すから。お金ないんじゃないか。お金ないんじゃなかったの Sorry. お金ないんじゃなかったのかよ So she's basically saying, I thought you didn't have any money. ちょうどバス来た。乗ろう So she's a very like 明るい
Yeah. Like lively.
Yeah. 私、卵の買って割りできたんだよ。そうか、よかったな。She's like so happy about it. 成功するまで4回も失敗しちゃったけど、成功率2割かよ。So she messed up 4. マスターできたら、かっこいいのにな。どうだろう。両手で割っても結果は同じなんだからさ。両手で丁寧に割る方がおしとやかに見えるんじゃない？そっか。So she's saying that like if you're taking your two hands and then cracking the eggs, it's not really gonna, if you're taking two hands to crack the egg, it doesn't really help.
No.
Sorry. She's saying, sorry, I totally misunderstand that. 結果同じなんだからさ. So if you're using both hands to do it, like the outcome is going to be the same. But it looks more polite. じゃあ、おしとやかに、I actually don't even know what that means. おとしとやかに. So おとし is like to,おし? That's what I keep messing up. おしとやかに. Can you look that up for me? I don't know what that means. おしとやかに。なるために、そうするね。おしとやかに. I don't know what that means. All right, so we're gonna stop it here just because it's getting a little long. You can go read till the end. That's totally fine. We're just gonna finish up the next one in the next podcast, or like till the end of the next podcast. But let's look that up. Oshito yakani. And the reason I can't use the Rikai champ is because this is a picture.
It's not,
an actual text on the page, so I can't.
Persistent is Oshito.
What?
Oshito
yaka.
Persist yaka. I don't see anything after that. It might be a yaka.
Oshito ya. Oh, okay. Yeah. It means ladylike, gentle, graceful. So she's saying that, I keep saying otoshi. Oshito yaka ni naru tame ni so suru ne. So she's saying be like more graceful, ladylike when doing the egg instead of just crushing it. Like she needs to be a little bit more graceful the way she does it.
I see.
Yeah. So she's having this entire like first episode, quote unquote, is about her egg problem. And then of course like it goes into the brothers, which is fantastic. But I already like this manga. But we're going to finish it up next time because we're short on time here. We're trying to keep these episodes short. Do you have a conversation practice you want to do here? Do you got any questions at the top of your head that you want to ask? Or maybe we can just end it here.
Get a date here for now.
Let's do it. All right. So this is the end of the podcast. We're going to finish up this manga next time and have a conversation practice for sure next week. Let us know if you like this manga too, and this type of format, or if you want us to go longer or whatever. We're going to try to mix it up, but I think that it was going to be fun to do these type of manga versus like the stories that are kind of silly. Yeah, and being able to share this silly. I mean, those are good, but
yeah, I agree.
And they're good listening practice. But this is also good too because you can see the kanji in the kana, and you can read it with us and sort of understand what's going on in the scene, and we can kind of like break it down and explain it.
Yeah, it has pictures, so maybe context will be a little easier.
Right. Pardon my terrible reading. One thing I noticed is that when it's like really big in my face, it's kind of hard to read eloquently.
Well, yeah, because you have to move your eyes more.
I probably have to sit back here and just like, like I have to go back here, then it's fine. Maybe I'll just do that next time. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned until episode 23 next week, next Saturday. 来週です。来週出しますから。少しお待ちください。じゃあねー。バイバイキーン。